about the music that starts the chat. The music is so boring. I know it is a struggle. Why don't you play Bagala nnyo bagala okugenda mu ggulu naye tebaagala okufa? That song sounds so funny. But well, my chat, I think I have several things I want to focus on, but I always want to focus on the medical before, because that's the field I know best. Because what hurts me is that I don't know whether in Uganda, I know I've been taught to be obedient. We're just, the Ugandan medics are musururu moja, like soldiers. Because every day, America is discussing COVID-19 vaccine every day, but I've never heard this in Uganda. Every day, Americans are suing. Even right now, the new director of whom you would call the commissioner, or whatever in our language, the JF Kennedy Jr. was elected. I mean, Trump chose him basically because of the fraud that is in the big pharma, the fraud that has been in the pharmaceutical industry, in whatever, in CDC, and they have gone for it. That is now, I would say, government. Would anyone tell me that the American government is against medicine? Just look at that. I don't see anything from Uganda. Now we have gone for vaccination of children. We have the malaria vaccine. And we just falling for business. Our doctors, you don't even, in fact, in America, you have doctors on, what we call doctors on opposition. They have good arguments. I'm wondering, that thing hurts me a lot because for example, now my state has removed the mandate for vaccination. It says parents should be allowed to choose for their children. The parents are responsible, not the state. That is my state. I think another state has also now removed the vaccine mandate. And again, the whole state has removed the vaccine mandate for schools. Do we listen to this? The reason even why Trump pulled out of the World Health Organization. He says, how could the government subject citizens to bioweapons? They call it bioweapons. And anyone who was vaccinated, of course, should be worrying, because these fellas, they will give you data that scares. Like I told you, I'm even one of those fellas who is waiting for his I think my results are coming out on 7th April. That will be next week. My results to check what the effect of the COVID-19 vaccine was on me. So for me, that one hurts me a lot, that in our country, there's nobody talking about this at all. At all. The medics are quiet totally. I don't think you'd roll out a malaria vaccine in the US now and they'll accept. There will be resistance. And some states, of course, have just said no. Well, after that, of course, there are so many things that are going on. I have seen, I think, Mimi, Mimi, you want us to talk for soldiers? Really? For me, I'm like, but what is a soldier?
Yes, no, we have to talk about them. Mr. Dr. James.
No, I totally agree with you. But the Ugandan soldier, of course, now is again like the Ugandan medic. Where would we speak for people who have guns? Where would we speak for people who are armed? Where would we speak for them?
Dr. James, sorry, interrupting. You talk about also the incompetence of the CDF, who sent them there, saying that by whatever date they would be in Kinshasa. So we talk about, that's what I want to promote, not the soldiers, but just showing how incompetent people who are leading Uganda.
Actually, Mimi, that is the thing. That's what I'm talking about. Because a soldier, a university graduate, somebody who has a PhD like Katumba Amala. Okay, I'm just giving you examples. How do you listen to Muhoozi? Muhoozi, if you just look at his picture, not that I hate him, okay, but if you just look at his picture, you say, but is this guy normal? Medically, you see somebody who is retarded. That is the medical description, which, without lying, you see somebody who is stupid. You see this thing they call Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. I mean, you can use anything to describe this guy, but I even saw him walking in a parade and he's wobbling like, like, but how? I mean, because right now, Mimi, let me tell you for a fact that the only graduates, anyone graduating in Uganda is only good for LODU and the army. You know that. But still, what school do you go to qualify to be an LODU? What school? So maybe much as yes, we are going to speak for them. When you hear the other day, maybe these figures I don't get them from me. I don't get figures online. I get figures from Sudanese here. When they killed 500, you know, I have Sudan. For us, with Sudanese here, we relate like brothers. That first 500, I got it from a Sudanese here. The 5,000 deployed before even this current deployment, the Sudanese told me that, you know, we have 5,000 of your soldiers just staying in our country, earning from us. We pay them heavily to keep to protect Juba. I got it from a Sudanese. And they tell you, for us, we don't know, we have never enjoyed, because these people have been, we were born in the 50s. Sudan was already fighting. So every child there, just a gun is like a ring. So if UPDF has come there, just I'm telling you, we shall fight. We shall fight. We shall fight. Just prepare coffins. They will come back in coffins. Because for us, fighting is an order of the day. But then, like, okay, now so we have our soldiers who are stupid. Then the country. Why don't we count the cost on our side? Because now you're getting money from Parliament. Parliament passes it. Then so which Parliament is this? Which Parliament? Mimi, the soldiers could be stupid. What about Parliament? That sits and passes a budget. This extra budget that we give to these countries. You're keeping soldiers in Congo. You're keeping soldiers in even in Somalia before the US has given you money. Even in Somalia before the US has given you money, you need some money from Uganda to sustain those guys there. And now we are this country that can't explain why we are poor. We are this country that can't explain why we are poor. And then I said I will just run all over so many things. Then I have seen some Abe Walusimbi, the diaspora ambassador, the diaspora ambassador. For us, we have a diaspora ambassador trying to see how the state can tap better the remittances from the diaspora. I'm like, yeah. So even me, I'm going to be under this Walusimbi. I don't know where he sits. Good morning. Anyway, Docas, that's my rant this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sister Mimi. Yes. And Comrade Ismail, you're co-hosting the first hour. Yes, Sister Mimi.
Thank you so much. Okay, so this is I think it should be a very hot topic for us in the diaspora, to talk about, you know. And me, it's not so much. I emphasize with us because those are our children, the soldiers. You know, they are Ugandans like us. Many of them enter these things being promised this, being promised that, being promised the whatever. But remember when they called and recruited people, just not so long ago. How can you recruit people in a short time, less than a year, and then you send them off to war? You're sending them off to die. So to me, it's how can't we not amplify that? That is showing incompetence of this CDF person. How can you send people to die in these wars? Why aren't they him who is this guy they've trained on taxpayer money? They would send him to Europe, they sent him to America, they sent him wherever. They have other cadres and whatever in there that they have sent on taxpayer money. Why don't they go into the wars themselves? Or why don't they send their children into these wars? You know? And then they just because they are flaring up their egos, you know, but they are on the backs of Ugandans dying for them because of their whatever stupidity schemes, you know. So I think that is something we should talk to. Parliament should be summoning this guy into parliament to question, did these people get the appropriate training? Did these people whatever? Was it necessary for Uganda to go in Congo with Sudan? You know, why aren't other nations sending their people in Sudan? You know, just having, he's trying to prove something. They are trying to prove something like his father did and sending our people into Mogadishu, whatever, you know, because they are trying to say they want to get this money, that they are the force that is going to be sent anywhere. They lost that, you know, they lost that. But you cannot do that on the back of Ugandans. And if we cannot say anything about it and just at least, did you hear anybody saying that let us, you know, gather and, you know, at least mourn these kids who have died in whatever in these wars? Nobody does. Do we even know their names? Have you seen their names anywhere? Are these people going to be compensated, the families of these people? Because when they send these people, when these people are funded, they should be given insurance, you know. But you know what, they return them in coffins. Some of them, I understand, I saw a post somewhere that some of them are rotting there in the war zone, you know. So these are the things we need to talk about, and we should not bypass as Ugandans. More so in the diaspora, if the people on the ground can't do anything about it, we speak to it, you know. Yes, these Ugandans are stupid enrolling themselves in what? In this army just because of promoting these people's interests, you know. But you guys are dying. You go in and let them, their children, let them go in the army. They are the ones they give scholarship to go for this military training. They come back, they don't train these people, and they just train you how to start a gun and do a gun, and then I'm going to war. Going to do what? You know? Why do the people they give scholarships on military whatever, why don't they go to the front? Yeah? They should be going because they are getting all this military whatever from Britain, from wherever. Let them go on the war front. They stay behind. Our children get killed. You know, Ugandans, you should be standing up and saying something and even resisting this stupidity going on. Thank you so much.
I think Ismail is with the babysitting. Ismail. Clinton has an arm up there, Ismail.
So I'm just putting my son to sleep. I'll be back shortly.
I knew. Clinton, you tap on the mic. I think it opens up automatically.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, Doctor. Well, I just want to add on what Mim was saying. See, there is some thing that also Ugandans we have to understand, and this is what I'm going to take you through a little bit. Let's go back to 1994, where Museveni had to pretend to have helped Kagame, and Kagame had to go back to Rwanda. Then they had to shoot down the plane where Rijema was, and after the brew, the genocide happened. Almost 800 people were lost, and that was because don't think that Kagame went into Rwanda alone. Kagame went with Ugandans. Kagame had gone with Ugandans. I think the Uganda People Defense Forces started to be manipulated from that time. So we always hear that Kagame went and he had to take over Rwanda. He was not elected. So how did he take over Rwanda? He took over Rwanda being helped by the Uganda People Defense Forces and and the other people he had, and in that they caused that genocide. As the same thing that the same people, the fellow Ugandans and a certain group from Rwanda went to Rwera and other districts, and even to this number that is not well known. And because we hear Rwera, but they also say, like when you hear that side of Kasese, Fort Portal, sorry, there is a place which I heard recently that there also people were massacred, and the people were complaining that ever since that time it has never been developed. So it's more than almost 1.5 people who lost their lives at that time. And so you ask yourself, the terror that happened to people of Ruero, which people did that? Is the Uganda People Defense Forces? The question is the Uganda People Defense Forces? Is it the forces we know? Is it the people? Is it the Ugandans we know? You look at what happened to Kasese people recently, or in 2022, 2021, the nourishment of that almost 100 people plus shot and killed by what we call the Uganda People Defense Forces. Is that the responsibility of the Uganda People Defense Forces, really? So when we just go adding up, not dot by dot, the question should be risen up. Because if the Uganda People Defense Forces, and they know very well that indeed the Uganda People Defense Forces, why would they be accepting to go in and fight wars that they are not even for them? Because there's two standing questions. What are the Uganda People Defense Forces fighting for in DRC? We grew them talking about Kony. We have never seen Kony. Out of the blue recently, they say the wife and children, it never became news. It was not an international news anywhere, and it died from there. That the wife. So what happened to the wife and the children of Kony? Someone is a rebel. Someone is a rebel, and they have captured the wife and the children, but they are being fed by State House and given money and they living. So there are things that we have to really understand more deeper. That is this the Uganda People Defense Forces? If it is Uganda People Defense Forces, then the ones who are controlling those young boys and young women who are being sent, because I don't believe like someone comes from Churuhura and is sent in. I have never seen that someone is coming from Churuhura, the Bahima, that is in UPDF and he has been sent to fight in Somalia. I've never seen anything like even they are burying them. I've never seen something like that. I'm from the West. I am from the almost the borders of Churuhura. I've always been in Churuhura, but I've never seen mbu mutani wa gundi yagudde maje. I've never seen it. What is so popular is mutani wa gundi bamukuzizza, bamutaddeko ranka. Those are the people from Churuhura. Then the children who are being completely nourished in and deleted off, they are people from other regions. These are the children of these mothers and fathers of other regions, because when the people from Churuhura, their children are grown and they are sent in the UPDF to join UPDF, they are promoted. When they are promoted, they don't go to the war; they remain, because that's to the truth. Those but left not, you will never hear them yafa. and from Churhura. That's the same thing we always see, that we can never see any arrest, any detention, any whatever that is happening in the districts of Churhura. Those people are always enjoying and doing their own things. You will never see them protesting. You would hear that they have voted themselves 100%. There is no any opposition person. So this should really, one way or the other, that Ugandans should understand that even the army is under capture. Because the fact that they can send our brothers and sisters from other regions and are killed and completely, there is no any, like I've never seen bakomezaawo publicly nga bw'olaba amagye how Doctor, how you say America does it, and you can see that the whole country, even the president, has gone to receive those bodies. I have never seen something like that. But they have been in Somalia, they have been in Central African Republic, they have been in South Sudan several times. They have been in other countries like DRC Congo ever since, almost from 1990 something.
Comrade Clinton, in a few minutes, in a minute, if you summarize, I forgot to mention it's 5 minutes, everybody, and then we rotate the mic. Yes, please do summarize, and then you'll come back again. Thank you.
So I just want to rush to my landing page, that if we talk about the issue of UPDF, it is either we are talking about it when it is too late. That's one. It is either we are talking about it when either we cannot solve anything. That is two. We either have a hope that maybe we can change them. That is three. So it is all about the people, the civilians, the people of the Republic of Uganda, who have to either save the army and remove it from the hands of a person who's assassinating them day and night, because that's assassination. When you look at those who died in Sudan, in South Sudan recently, and the reports are hidden here and there. I don't those, even the mothers and the father. Do you think they are told? Me, my uncle, for example, was in EPDF. My uncle again in 1995. We never heard from him. We never heard from him. How many years up to now? By the moment when we went to hear from him, he was already dead after 20 years. So that's the same thing. Bibi bawo kucharo ngeije enveyo nze. You hear mtano wa gundi agenda mmaje. Emyaka 15 temuulizanga. So they don't even inform them. N'abantu babo ne babafira Sudan, ne babafira Somalia, they don't inform those people. They don't tell them. Ntugundi yafa musembe okula ntugundi yagenda mmaje temulidda mulaba. Okay, I learned from there. So the issue of UPDF is bigger. That it is either saved by us or we let our brother continue perishing from there. And they will perish completely.
Thank you. Thank you so much, comrade. I know it is unfortunate. It is quite sad, very sad actually, that our brothers and sisters continue to perish, and we just continue watching on the sidelines. It is unacceptable. Yeah, I know the UPDF, for those that are joining us for the first time, we're speaking on Uganda, and that's the Uganda People's Defense Forces. Well, they are sent on missions to counterattack, to should I say war, or fight rebels, and Museveni claims to be a peacekeeper, and they've been sent to so many missions, Somalia and all that. But at the end of the day, we know that the dictator does not want to pay these soldiers. They end up being killed, they get rid of them, and that's it. They sometimes will pretend they're taking them to a mission, and before we know it, they're just getting rid of the authentic Ugandan. And this is bigger than us. We've got to speak up. There's so much to discuss. The injustice in Uganda. Guys, we must speak. We will be having a moment of silence, but in the meantime, just before we do, Sister Demi, I believe you do have a message for us, and then Ellen Prezo, please do pick up the mic. I hope you can lead us in the next session after the moment of silence. Yes, Sister Demi, do come in. We'll have a moment of silence, then you come in to finish off your message. How are you, sister? How are you?
Okay, fine. My message is about too long, about the 5. I want to give you my submission. The 2026 rooms, we are going to have a stark choice of so many political parties, starting with alphabetical, no particular order. There is ANT, there is DP, there is NUP, NRM, there is FDC. But what do we need to make ground or to make a change to what happened in 2021? We don't need to do the same methods we used to do. We can go by simple method that works, that is effective, and is much underrated. And that one which I want to give when I come back is going to be about civil education. What is this civil education? Because in Uganda, what bothers people is significance of their vote, because they find themselves, they vote President Robert Kyagulanyi and vote Member of Parliament of NRM, then RC, FDC. So we can give civil education very simple and basic by telling people when you elect from president, nope, downwards president, no. And then give them civil education where you tell them the significance that the president cannot stand alone and cannot work alone. For him to work alone, we need everything from top to bottom or from bottom to top, that they are the same. So I'll come back and give my submission. Let us pay respect to the people who have lost. We are still losing people. Did you see the tweet by Agatha to Haile? She said Kizza Besigye told her there are over 100 opposition people in Ruzira prison. Can you believe it? Have you heard that? Over 100 who were on court martial. So we still, let me come back after we pay respect to our foreign comrades.
Thank you so much, sis. And of course, not to rush you. It's good you know that you come back, and we always take this moment at the top of the hour to spare that moment. So guys, let's have that moment of silence. I'll mute the mics so that there's no interruption. It is just a short, brief moment. Thank you. Having the moment of silence. And he continues to abduct, torture. You heard Sister Demi tell us briefly how people are still in this illegal detention. People are being killed day and night. Even the short clip that we've played, the moment of silence, is a constant reminder that every single day, actually every single minute, I think every hour, I think somebody is being tortured, brutalized, and killed, you know, or maybe left for near death and they just dumped randomly somewhere because they are in opposition to the government, or they do not agree, they have differing views, you know. So there's so many prisoners of conscience. There's lots and lots of injustice happening in Uganda, and we've chosen to speak up as a nation, as concerned citizens of Uganda and friends of Uganda. So welcome you to speak, have your say. You have 5 minutes. Please have your hands up. And co-hosts, I remind you once again to watch out for the chat, because we have some people that are trying to sabotage the meeting, and we will not let them. Yes, thank you so much, Sister Demi. Please complete your submission, and we are happy to see you. Thank you. And Ellen Prezo, you pick up the mic. Thank you. Sorry, Sister Demi, you're muted. Please unmute. I had muted everyone. Are you unmuted? Please unmute. Apologies.
Okay. So my concern today, we are totally occupied by issues which are like subsidiaries, but we have to be serious. Myself, I'm not going to vote. I've got my opinion that we need to do civil disobedience before we go for the voting, because that window is still open. But I still take the other side, the people who say we have to go to voting. We cannot leave it for the dictator. Fine. So that's where I come in the middle. I'm giving people, let us do civil education, which is basic, because Uganda, we have garbage society that people, they don't know the significance of their vote. But this is a way we can apply this into our civil education. Let's say that we're going to be physical, teach people physical civil education. Physical is that they are going to vote, they need their number, they need to be there on time, but how are they going to tick the box to see that there is no spoiled ballot and they tick the right person, and you tell them that, okay, you might know Bobby Wine, but on the ballot paper is going to be Kyagulanyi. People, you're going to say, oh, we've had these people, they know it. No, the more you reply this, it works. So we need to be like physical. Second, visible. Visible is about those aspirants that when you go to vote in a constituency, there are 5 to 7 positions for voting. The president, the member of parliament, LC 5, LC 3, LC 1. So those people who aspire for those positions, like if we say like for Noob, they must show something visible. And when you say visible, is unity. They have to be together. They have to be on the campaign for each other. They have to show they agree because they are standing on NUP, which has got ideology. And in that time, regardless what people they think, they should always have one message, not to differ. Not to differ. That is very important. Once you send a signal to the people that you are united, people, they are inclined to vote you, people, they will be attracted. But if they say you are disunited, then they start what? They start doubting you. Another method of civil education should be significance. Let us tell the people the significance of their vote. That is going to change their lives, but it's not going to change the lives of MPs. MPs, I think, if it's me, I would be the first MP to say that I'm not going to take that 25 millions. I'm not going to take the vehicle. Personally, that is me. I would take the travel allowance and the attending allowance, full stop. And I want to set records. If I ever stand for 2031, that will be me. If people, they elected me, I will just take travel allowance and whatever attending allowance. Because we have a very big debt where MPs, they are the ones that when they get elected, their incentives and benefits, they are cleared and they get it so quickly. So we tell them their significance of their vote is about service delivery, which will make life difficult. And it's about these 5 social issues: education, health, employment, housing, and transportation. The rest, they come. Once somebody sets up those things, People who have lived in developed country, you know, that is where the government invests a lot of money. So you give them civil education, you tell them their significance. It's not about that they're gonna vote somebody for likability, for celebrity, for religion. No. And our civil education as well should be about mobilization. How are we going to mobilize? Because for me, I went to school. I went to school with the empty head. I came back with something in my head. I don't believe when people they say we are under dictator, you can't do anything. My dear, how did Martin Luther do it? What did Mandela do? Berlin Wall fell. We had the Cold War. We are just learning about people who have made a difference. We don't believe we can make a difference. I find that unacceptable. We go to school to learn. How do you solve a problem? How do you stop this? How do you reduce? How do you eradicate? You don't tell me we can translate them into how we can get this dictator out. I think we are underestimating ourselves. I'm not attacking anybody. That is my attitude. That is my belief. Our mobilization should be there. That, okay, we set our targets which are achievable. Like we can say our mobilization, we are going to have 10 members on each village. 10 members on each village. You start from there as a starting point, is achievable. And then you say 10 members, each one get us two. Get us one from your family. That is how things they work. Another civil education, that people stop electing idiots. Stop electing people based on their tribe, based on their religion, based on their status, based on their celebrities. We must choose people who are going to deliver. As I wind out, I'll come back. I feel very sad, but I say what he has given us is enough. Semuju Nganda reported that he's gonna step down from elective or politics. He's given it all. I know people, you just want to tell me the negatives. No, Semuju Nganda has broken his bones in the parliament. Semuju Nganda has been that good. So, however, someone else will emerge. But however, for me, I'm thinking if you're talking about 2026, you better start civil education and better take these points I'm giving as very imperative, because we need the problem we are having. I see that there is a ground we have abandoned, and we leave volunteers, bloggers to occupy it. But these bloggers, they are bad radicals. They cannot accommodate us moderates. They cannot accommodate people who are educated. For them, it's about anger, blah, 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 blah. But where we are now, if we started 2022 with civil education, would have been so far away. We would be organized. Remember, we had Professor Sejinja from America. He gave us free civil education. Where did it go? Did we? But that is the ground I'm saying that I have observed is being abandoned. Once that material is there, no one is willing to take it on. So for me, I'm not going to get into that Rwanda, wherever, but you are going in 2026. Me, I'm going Morocco to see Uganda cranes. A submit Saturday.
Yeah, thank you very much, Demi, for your submission. I agree with you that we need civic education. Civic education is very important because people we need to educate ourselves on what exactly must we do, and we stop doing what we've been doing before that has never worked. This is an open mic discussion. Whoever wants to give in their submission, please feel free to ask to raise your hand, and then you get your 5 minutes to speak. There's no wrong answer or wrong submission. We can speak about our country, Uganda. On how do you see Uganda, and what do you think must be done to really put an end to the tyrant and the dictatorial tendencies that have overrun our country for the last 39 or 40 years? So feel free to raise your hand, and then you get your 5 minutes. It's not a monologue. We don't want to have the same people speaking. So it's very important we take that. I'm seeing Clinton's hand is raised. I don't know. Clinton, did you want to say something?
I just wanted to add something. As my sister talks about civic education, as we also look at how it is being planned to attack it, how they are planning to attack that civic education. First and foremost, you have had this guy called Wariomunsi and supported with fellow colleagues, how they are going to control social media. So it is also better for us to start planning for that, because that's what is coming. Controlling of social media means, because they listed how many social media they're going to control. That means stopping information as it has always been, that people in the deep corners of Uganda, in different areas, they have filtered information. Radios give them. The radios are on a gunpoint, and they issue only information they want people to hear. And I guess that's the war that we are also now going for. So, which we should plan or find solution, or set solutions as soon as possible. As they are planned, we have to really to set, because you may want to spread the civic education, but when it's not going to reach on the people you want. And of course, it's a very key. It's a key, and something like if you have been on Spaces for almost 1 year and plus, which some of us have been doing that with colleagues and activists which are here. Now the other point is how about also if like, for example, she said she comes from somewhere. I come from Western, especially me, I come from Western Kashari. How about we start connecting with like, for example, I was thinking, like, how about whoever the youth mobilizers who are in those areas, in those villages, each of us, we take a gratitude of inviting those colleagues in there. Some of them, of course, they may not be able to use Zoom, but if we in touch and we can really speak with them, because we would like if they could come here. Like, for example, we have a lady called Sky in Barala. She has really, really done a great job, a very great job. And we find that we are putting, when you speak to Sky, for example, where we have invited, you hear she's telling you the deep challenges that they're experiencing on ground. So if as we second the option of technology, we could really pull, if individually here comes wherever you are coming from, then we invite in the all next meetings, we invite those colleagues who are heading those mobilizations. They may not be on the but they will be, they can give us which methods they really want to use to activate, and we see one way or the other how we can support them. Because, for example, like Sky, whom I'm telling you, she's a brilliant lady who's really heading a big team of that end, and who actually use methods of door to door, voluntarily. They are moving, they are understanding how people are experiencing problems with cards, how people are not able to, like, even to raise like 1,000 Ugandan shilling in deep villages. They're able to connect deep. So if we have such a type of connections, and we always bring them here, and we know the challenges and how we can solve them, as a part of civil education. For example, if you're here, not everyone will going to come here to listen, or other spaces. They will not listen, because of, we understand the late understanding of technology. But if we go through such a type of colleagues who are in those areas, we could even also extend, like maybe supporting a flyer, supporting any information or auto-generated scripts which can be supplied to door, so that people continue learning, getting to know how to really turn and support their own country. That will definitely work. So my suggestion, the reason why I came is was just like to say, how about we start doing that? Do you vote it? And is it possible for us to connect to tap? For me, it is easy to bring Sky here completely. It's easy for Western, especially. And I pray that if other colleagues can do the same, then we can hear from them. Then we can see, we can know now what to do or how to deal with it. I guess that's just what I really want to bring up for now as we continue the conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Clinton. That is a great idea. And indeed, these spaces or other spaces that you probably organize or organized by any other person that is talking about how are we going to overcome the capture on our country, and how do we involve those Ugandans? Because every Ugandan has a stake. We have the equal stake in our country. So if you feel that Sky can be supported by getting ideas from these spaces and other spaces, you don't need any invitation. You don't need anything to invite anyone to join. Invite them to join in, and we also want to hear from them. Basically, there's some strategic and tactical method that we cannot divulge on these such spaces. Some of those tactical or strategic methods can be covert, shared, or privately shared, so that people are not exposed. You see, but we can come and share information on how we're going to mobilize and engage with those people that we feel have not yet got the message. So that's a great idea, and we welcome such ideas to be shared. So if you feel any idea is working, please feel free to share it, and then we can see how we can move forward. Otherwise, time is not our best ally. As we talk about the 2026, 2025 is the election year. It's when the all busy work is going to be done in this year. In September, or even before September, around June, July, the youth are going to elect their members, okay? June, July, the youth are going to be electing their members and other groups, special groups. Then in September, the MPs will be nominating those that want to stand for the next election will be nominated. And thereafter, the president candidates will be nominated. And they're not going to be nominated in 2026. 2026 is going to be the polling year, probably either January or February. So when you look at the time, how much time do we have from now until next year, or until June or July, when the youth, because 75 or 80% of Ugandans are youth, those below the age of 35. And before, the youth of Uganda thought those youth positions belong to NRM. They didn't take them serious. So how do we mobilize? Clinton and others, how do we mobilize and engage and organize the youth that need the change so much to get involved, mobilize themselves, and then participate in those youth elections? Otherwise, if we wait and leave it to the NRM to win all those positions, then we'll have failed as the youth. And we must understand that we're not in a democracy. Uganda is not in a democracy. We're dealing with a captured state that was captured in 1986 until now. So how do you operate? How do you deal with a captured state? And what do you expect in a captured state? Because it's until people understand the environment they're dealing with. We're not dealing with an environment, a normal democracy like you speak of the US and other democratic countries where people's votes are going to be respected and are going to be counted, and the winner is going to be declared with no foul plays. That's not what is in Uganda. It's unfortunate that we must use the available systems set up by our captor, those that captured our state and those that are oppressing us. We're going to use the same system to overwhelm them and maybe to reduce on their power that they wield at the moment. So that's a great idea, Clinton. Let's have Tadeo Yuda. Please, you can unmute your mic and speak to us.
All right, thank you, comrade. Hopefully I'm loud and clear because I'm traveling and I'm not certain about my network.
You're very clear.
Yeah, thank you very much. Greetings to everyone. It's a pleasure being here. I haven't been attending a lot quite often, but I have been following whatever has been happening here, and I'm really happy about the organizers holding this for this long. Thank you very much. So allow me, I'm going to first revisit the first session. I wanted to say something about the first session, but I didn't get a chance. I'm going to revisit for around 1 minute, and then I'll proceed to this next session. This is just the information I'm passing on to you, all my comrades. Whatever is happening in Juba, it's something serious, very serious. I have heard people saying that we have just lost around only 500 or so, but literally we have lost more than 1,500 soldiers so far, 1,500 soldiers so far. So just in around 2 days, I was talking with a speaker of SPLIO. We were in a discussion with him, and we were discussing about which is happening right now in Juba. So he gave me information that there is another group. Actually, there's another group. For them, they claim that they're not the one fighting. That's what they're saying. Though they have their soldiers on the ground doing it, but they are claiming that they're not the one who are fighting. Of youth who have raised up, and they are waging war against the government. So Museveni's government works in this way. This is part of the army part. Because in 2015, Captain Mahang, when they attacked Juba, I was assessing the way they operate. Those are covert operations. I was assessing the way they operate. He didn't know that I was within them, but I managed to infiltrate the system, and I was with them without them. So they deploy, when they deploy 2 types of soldiers. There is a group of soldiers who are recruited from orphans. They go to the streets, they get people who are orphans, they get kids who have no dad, who have no mom. Nobody will care about them.
Is it my mic, LM?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear him. I don't know. He's not very clear, but we can still hear what he's saying.
Oh, just a minute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, continue speaking. You don't have the best network, but we can still get some of the things.
All right,
that you say. Continue.
As I was saying, that they get those orphans, they train them, and whenever they die during the war, nobody will come to claim them. So he was telling me that in the villages, they have buried more than 1,000 soldiers, Ugandan soldiers who have died from there. So the information they're giving out right now
on the social media and wherever by the government is not true. But I won't dwell into that too much because most of the information I could have given is security information, which we are also using on our advantage. And saying it here will jeopardize our own operations. So let me go to this issue of civic education. Actually, this is a very, very, very good idea. It's a very good idea. But initially, like in 2021 election, when we are preparing our citizens, we usually prepare them for elections. That's all. We prepare them for the elections and then we stop there. We don't prepare them for post-election or after elections. And we are certain that the government is going to leak the vote as usual. They're going to declare M7 as usual. So we don't prepare them for post-election. So using this platform, I think we need to come up with that. We need to set up platforms where we can educate our population back home and direct them and also show them and train them very well how they are going to handle the post-elections. How are they going to go through that period? How can they claim their victory thereafter? It happened actually, those who have been following me, like Mimi Clinton, you know, I met a certain leader in around 1 or 2 months back. It's the same scenario. They won the elections overwhelmingly. But when in some of the key points he mentioned to me when we are in our discussion, because I told him about the scenario which happened in Uganda back in 2021, and I told him that we have been winning the election for 4 or 5 times, and the government has been declaring, the incumbent has been declaring himself as the winner. He told me that in most of the times, and the mistake they did, for them, they prepared for the elections. They prepared to get the DRA forms and everything. They carried and they got the information that they had won the vote overwhelmingly with around 70%. But one mistake they did, they didn't prepare for post-elections. They didn't prepare for how to claim their victory thereafter. And right now, he's out of the country, and the incumbent is the one ruling. He's not leading, but he's ruling. He's ruling the country right now. So my suggestion and my submission is, as we have this protest here, or online protests each and every time, I think we need to come up with another session about civic education, training Ugandan is actually, it's not supposed to be for the diaspora, for people in diaspora, but it's supposed to be targeting those in Uganda. We try as much as possible to train some individuals back home, and those individuals will train other individuals back home. And in that way, we shall also be recruiting more and more members. Thank you very much. I submit.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tadeo, for your submission. The number that you shared with us for those brothers that are alleged to have been killed in the Juba, it's unfortunate. But then that takes us back to what I started with. Those military and the UPDF is a subordinate to the civilian rule. So the people leading the UPDF, the commanders and other leaders in the UPDF hierarchy, were supposed to be reporting to Parliament on anything that happens to the soldiers that are sent down to either Somalia or any other country to fight, and the purpose of their presence in those countries must be clearly stated. Now, if these groups were illegally sent because it wasn't an emergency, the law allows the UPDF or the commander-in-chief to deploy the military in any area that requires an emergency. That is only during emergency, and then thereafter they report to Parliament. But this wasn't an emergency. And even when they illegally deployed remember, I mean those military officers, the soldiers in South Sudan, yet Uganda gets little from South Sudan. But the members of parliament did not really put the leaders of UPDF to task to explain why are we in the South Sudan, where the Ugandans military prepared, the UPDF, were they prepared? Did they have enough resources to really fight that war? And if you've been following, you know what happened. So it's parliament that has let down the soldiers, those Ugandan brothers and fathers that are deployed in either in the Central African Republic, South Sudan, DRC, Somalia, and other places. That these guys are deploying, and later on, they come and they casually report to Parliament. And Parliament also allows them, because they want to follow the formality. What does that speak to you as a Ugandan who is concerned? Much as we know that when someone joins the military, there are two things they expect. He expects to kill the enemy or the enemy to kill them, because they would definitely be sent to war. So when you join the army or the military, you expect two things. You're going to kill the enemy, or the enemy is going to kill you. Now, if these systems, institutions like Parliament, don't give enough information in regard to the deployment of those soldiers, then we are letting them down. Nothing is going to happen. I can tell you this, comrades on this space, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to get better as long as Museveni and this system, the regime, is still in power, holding on to that power of Uganda. Nothing is going to change, because the power resides around Museveni and his family. The rest of other institutions that existed, Parliament, the judiciary, were all captured. The executive, he can sit in the executive, then he chooses to leave and leave it for his wife or someone else to take over. Now, that is not how a proper government that is supposed to be running, because a government stands on three arms: the executive that is led by the president, the judiciary that is led by the chief justice, and parliament that is led by the speaker. And the other one, the fourth estate, those are the journalists that are not clearly mentioned. Okay. Now, if these other arms of government cannot stand independently to ask questions or to ask the executive to answer to their actions, then that means everyone is on his own. As I speak now, I'm speaking because I'm waiting for people to raise their hands, and then we give them the opportunity to share what they have on their mind in regard to what we're faced with in Uganda. And when you look at the title of this space or this call, Uganda is bleeding, that should speak to you. Uganda is bleeding. It's not by mistake. Uganda is bleeding. Before I continue, I'll need to give, I'll give Mimi, Buki, Mike to come and give us whatever. Mimi, you can unmute your mic and speak to us, please.
Thank you so much, comrade. And I'm going to